Hello and welcome back to the channel. Hello and welcome to the RDA if you are new. Today we're going to be talking about 3 reasons Michael Carrick is not good enough to coach Manchester United. So, before I get into it, all the classic YouTube stuff, please do leave a like and do subscribe if you are new. It helps us out a lot. And we're on the road to 200. We're right there, and hopefully we can push through it before the new year. And yeah, you guys are an awesome community, and yeah, I hope to see some more faces into it. So let's get into it. I think the first and most obvious reason of the bunch that I think we can all think of is he's way too defensive. He plays a very defensive style of football that looks like he wants to tire out the opposition versus actually assert himself onto the game. I think a good comparison would be like a Sam Allardyce. It's that type of manager that you can look at and you can go, he's probably just going to park it for the first 45 minutes and then just let the players do their thing. And that's nowhere near good enough for Manchester United. Maybe good enough for sides that Big Sam coaches that are fighting a relegation battle and do desperately need to just find a way through. But we're Manchester United, we need to be asserting ourselves on the game from minute one. We need to be pushing, we need to be pressing, and hopefully Ralph Ragnick brings that. Um, by the way, a side note, if you didn't already know, Ralph Ragnick is coming in as interim manager of Manchester United. I'm exceptionally excited for this. I hope you guys are too, because we're going to see a completely different brand of football and we're going to see a proper coach come in once again. The first time in quite a while. So I'm looking forward to it. But back to Carrick, back to reality for maybe at least the Arsenal game. We'll have to see how long Ragnick's visa takes, but we shall see the situation. So the next thing I want to talk about is a bit of an iffy one. I don't understand where this Donny Bias comes from with Carrick. Because, again, in the Champions League, he played basically the whole game and played phenomenally and didn't get the start against the big team Chelsea, where he could have proved himself and been a very valuable asset to us in this type of game. I understand where he was coming from with the 3 defensive mids, but again, that goes back into the first original point, which was he's just too defensive. And that's not good enough for the quality of Manchester United. We had 3 shots all game against Chelsea, and it's just very telling of our tactic of just pocket and counter. So, yeah, again, the situation with Donny, I don't understand it. Him and Ollie clearly had this pact of don't play Donny that often, just give him the occasional game. And I don't understand it because once again, he performed fantastically in the Champions League. And now we seeing Fred, McTominay, and Matic fielded against Chelsea, one of our rivals in the league. And it just came out as a coward's way out, which kind of leads to my last point about him, which is just it felt like we had a lack of ambition. We didn't feel like Manchester United. We felt like Fulham. We felt like West Brom. We felt like Norwich. We felt like Burnley. We felt like this team that knew we had no real chance of winning this game unless we put 10 men behind the ball at any given stage. And I think that just summarizes everything perfectly about Michael Carrick and his managerial style so far. It's just been looking for those 1 or 2 opportunities on the counter and hope for the best and hope that works. And like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's not a tactic that's viable, and it's clearly not viable considering we only had 3 shots all game against Chelsea, only 1 on target. That's a massive, massive thing that we have to look at. At least under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we're creating those chances, even if they were low quality chances. So, in my opinion, I do think Carrick is worse than Ollie so far. As much as he's gotten the results along the line, that's cool. You can be a results man, but I don't see this working long term. I don't see this kind of style working against the City. I don't see this type of style working against the Norwich, if I'm being honest. It just leads to feeling insecure about yourself, is kind of the vibe that it gives off. It's just, I have no confidence in myself and my ability. So I'm going to park it let them put out 45 minutes of energy, and then we'll like see what happens and maybe change it up and be a little bit more attacking and see if we can get a goal and just get a win out of it somehow. And that is just nowhere near good enough for Manchester United standards. So I will just be putting up some stats from the Chelsea game because I think it's a fantastic example of just the ineptitude of our coaching staff. And I do think Carrick has some brains. I liked his interviews. I liked what he had to say, but I just don't think his brand of football is the way forward. And if Ralph Ragnick keeps him, I'm sure he can learn and he can grow from this, and he can become a better coach moving forward. So we'll have to see how that goes. So looking at the stats of the game, it was 66% possession to Chelsea, 24 shots from them in total, 13 chances created, and two big chances all game with 505 passes. Whereas we had 34% possession, we had three shots, and we created one chance, and that was a big chance. That was it. We made 236 passes, which is more than half of what Chelsea did. Our pass success rate was a measly 74% to Chelsea's 86. Uh, Chelsea conceded 13 fouls. We conceded 14. Chelsea had 15 corners to our two corners. Yeah. We had one offside to their two. They had 6 shots on target, 10 off target, two for us, and one off target. And the second shot was obviously Jesse Lingard. No, it wasn't Jesse Lingard. Sorry. I'm used to the Jesse Lingard slander at this point. I'm sorry. It was the Fred shot who gently just passed the ball back to Mendy. Um, but yeah, it's just unacceptable from Manchester United standards, and we showed no ambition. So I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to know, do you think Carrick could succeed long term? Because I personally think he can learn. I think he is a smart footballer, and the way he conducts himself in front of the press also leads me to believe that he knows what he's talking about. And there's something in there. I think with someone to look up to like Ralph Ragnick, you're going to learn a lot. And I think you'll see a different Carrick if he had to go and manage United after this interim stage. Even with Ralph Ragnick taking a higher up situation, he's going to be imposing himself and probably the philosophy that he wants the club to bring, which would be attacking football and not this drear, drab, counter-attacking defensive football. So yeah, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. I think it'll only improve going forward under Ralph Ragnick, and I'm just excited to start this new era under Manchester United. But those were three things that I think make Carrick not good enough for this Manchester United job. So if you guys did enjoy, leave a like, consider subscribing if you are new, once again. And leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. Let's voice some opinions here. Let's start an argument, you know? Maybe you think Carrick's the best manager in the world. I want to hear it. Come, let's talk about it. So, without further ado, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. And we'll see you guys shortly because we're going to have a match preview out tomorrow, probably. Or maybe even when you're watching this video, it's already out. So, go check that out. We always have a lot of fun there. So, yeah, that's me.